In this video, I will be comparing ETFs, specifically halal ETFs, with investing in individual stocks. You will know from my videos I cover mainly halal ETFs, but in many cases this may not be the best option for you. So I will be comparing the advantages and disadvantages of investing in ETFs. I will also be making a video on how to invest in individual halal stocks in terms of screening them, so you know that they are compliant to invest in. So do make sure you are subscribed so you are updated when that video is released. An ETF is basically an investment into a basket of different companies. It can be easily traded on the market like you would trade any other individual company. They are also very similar to index funds, but index funds aren't as liquid as ETFs. So firstly, I will go over the advantages of investing in ETFs in general. The main one is that it's best for hands-off investors. Not everybody is interested in researching individual companies, keeping up to date with company news and their earnings reports. If you just want to invest and not really be worried about looking at your portfolio every day, then this is the best option for you. This is obviously not financial advice. Always speak to a professional before making any investment decisions. You can dollar cost average, which basically just means investing small amounts regularly over a long period of time, and you will generally do well when investing in ETFs. This is what I do with the majority of my portfolio, which is mainly invested in 2 halal ETFs. You should invest in an ETF that suits your investment needs. So do check out my various other videos on halal ETFs, as I do cover them in more detail. Stocks and ETFs have trended upwards since the stock market began, and the belief is that as long as the economy improves over time, so will the performance of stocks. Obviously, history doesn't always repeat itself, and this will be mentioned later on in the video, so do hold that thought. The main reason why ETFs have performed well is because they provide instant diversification, reducing the impact of poor performing individual stocks. This also means less volatility for your portfolio. This is also another advantage of ETFs. As your portfolio is less volatile, it means that you are less likely to make impulsive decisions like selling on a big drop. So yeah, that was a quick overview of the advantages of ETF investing, which I have covered in a few other videos as well. The main one is really that it is a set it and forget it approach to investing, and it outperforms in the long run. However, it may be more beneficial to invest in individual stocks. This is specifically the case for Muslims, and I will explain. But before I do, please can I ask you to like the video if you are enjoying the content so far, and subscribe for more free content like this. The main disadvantage for halal ETFs is that you don't control the individual holdings. For example, if the ETF has a holding in a company such as Apple, you will be investing in Apple via the ETF. If for some reason you don't want to invest in Apple for, say, ethical reasons, then you have no control over this. ETFs generally have at least 100 holdings, and you may not be comfortable with all of them from a halalness or an ethical perspective. However, if you were buying individual stocks, you can pick and choose exactly which holdings you want in your portfolio. This is especially important for Muslims because we obviously want to ensure we are investing as ethically as possible. Another disadvantage for ETFs is their high expense ratios. Halal ETFs in particular have higher expense ratios than non-halal ETFs. These fees will eat into any gains that you have. However, if you hold individual stocks, then you don't pay an expense ratio. However, depending on the platform, you may have to pay fees to buy or sell the stock. Also, some platforms may slightly inflate the price of a stock on their platform, so they incorporate the fees within the purchase of the stock. Another disadvantage for halal ETFs is that although their performance is considered decent, you could likely make more returns investing in individual stocks. For example, if we look at a company like Microsoft, it is up around 14% this year in 2024. However, an ETF like ISWD has only gone up around 6% in this same time frame, and this is despite Microsoft making up a big chunk of the ETF. However, we should also consider the flip side. Some companies in 2024 have gone down. For example, Adobe stock, which has gone down over 20%. So although you can make more gains, it is more risky because you could equally make more losses. Whereas if you look at halal ETFs, in general, they have pretty much all been green for the year. The way to work around this is to diversify your portfolio of individual stocks. So like an ETF is diversified, you can also diversify your individual stock holdings. Maybe hold around 5 to 20 stocks to ensure your portfolio is diversified and less volatile and dependent in one individual company. Another disadvantage for ETFs is that history doesn't always repeat itself. Just because it has always gone up in the past doesn't mean it will always go up in the future. There could also be long periods where the stock market is down. So if you are planning retirement in this period, it may work against you. For example, if we look at the Japan market, which is indicated by the Nikkei 225, it took around 24 years for it to recover to its previous all-time highs. There's no saying that this can't happen to halal ETFs as well, whether they are world ETFs, US-based ETFs or emerging markets. Having said that, you would probably still do better with ETFs in this period rather than individual stocks, because if the ETF is down, it would mean that the general market is also down, which means that individual stocks in general will also be down as well. That was a quick overview of some of the disadvantages of investing in halal ETFs and why in some cases individual stocks would be better. There are probably other factors to consider as well, so always make sure you do your research before investing into ETFs or into individual stocks. If you made it this far, then I would really appreciate if you could like the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more free content like this. Also, do let me know your thoughts and questions in the comments below.